2018-2019. This is a resolution to transfer funds from the general fund to the recreation fund to cover the budget shortfalls for the 2018-29 budget year. Ms. Benoit?
Good evening again, everyone. Tonight I come before you to ask for $60,000 to cover the recreation fund for our budget of 2018 and 19. This was on the last consent, and it was pulled, and I'm hoping you guys have questions that I'm hopefully can help you with.
Council, any questions?
I got a couple questions.
Sure.
So how did we get this account to be so negative throughout the year?
Well, actually, I have some explanations. This is the first year that we are independently standing. We're not just a part of the general fund. And I'm hoping that I will be able to do some things to help cover costs this next year. I hope to bring back to you folks some information on raising some fees that we have, and also we have not been charging non-resident fees to the folks that use our parks, that use our programming, and in a lot of places they will charge as much as 25% more for the fees to help cover. One of the things too that I'm sure you guys probably understand but never put it with my department, every single person that works for me except for Tony and our Sonia are minimum wage. And what has happened to the minimum wage it just keeps going up. So that does impact our programs, which hopefully in raising the fees will help offset that. The other thing is almost a little over $12,000 of our deficit is from PERS, from insurance, from things that are kind of out of my control. So I'm hoping that we can somehow get a better handle on that. And I mean,
so let me just chime in real quick so you understand. So one of the things that we've been doing is we really have been looking at trying to independently separate the different departments so that they can be their own fund. So one of those, in addition to the Parks and Recreation, also the building department and the planning department, and as Jackie was mentioning before, it was really hard to decipher really what the expenditures were. And so now that we've actually, it was done on purpose so that we can try to make each department self-sustaining, it has really come to light. And given the increases in, like you said, in insurance and PERS, and the fact that the minimum wage went up, so we are, okay, how can we continue to make this program, the Parks and Recreations, which is very important and which everybody loves and which is making a huge difference in the community, we're going to continue to subsidize that department with general fund money, but how can we generate other funds? So we're looking at programs that possibly, they're going to be hard decisions to make, but which programs do we need to eliminate, where we should continue, fees versus local, non-local, and then just coming up with other creative ways to generate some revenue so that the department can be more self-sustaining, but with help of general fund money.
Thank you. So just seeing if there was a plan in place. So thank you.
Council, any other comments?
I just want to comment, your department is fabulous. without it, many of our children, our youth, our well, citizens in general, wouldn't have the events that you provide in the city for free. Many of the events that you do have don't generate that much funds, and listening to city manager, other ways suggesting how you can bring that revenue up, and I am just glad that you provide those programs, and it would really be a shame to cut any of those programs that you provide for our youth or even for our senior citizens, anything that goes to the rec department.
Yeah. I also would just want to say that, obviously the recreation department is very dear to my heart, and then I commend all the staff, the commission for working on so many different programs compared to other cities and communities. We do a lot in our city, a lot of opportunities for kids to be involved and be out of trouble. I know there's other ways, obviously, and plan in place where we could improve in regards to, money. And it just takes back to something I've, as the city manager has known, hopefully one day we could get somebody that could be doing grant writing and take advantage of many programs out there that we could, help the recreation department in regards to funding. So that's still my hope that one day we could be able to acquire a grant writer. But yeah, definitely, I think obviously public safety is essential service to the community, but I think recreation is also very important, and it affects everybody. I mean, obviously there's studies and testimony that, getting kids out of trouble, directly affects public safety. So, like I said, I think we, as a community, as a council, know that how important the recreation department is, and I know that we will work together to, improve that and look at fees and all that stuff. So.
Thank you, Mr. Aguilar. For me, over the years, recreation has never financially paid for itself. We know that. It's always been short here, short there. Though we may lack in number of dollars, but I think we come out ahead in service we provide to our youth and our folks. Yeah, $58,000 is a lot of money, and I agree with Mayor Pro Tem, and maybe we do need to look at some fees. But one kid that we keep out of our justice system, more than enough pays for this, and I think nobody would disagree with that. We invest a lot of money in our Explore program. That's not really, it's really to get the kids involved off the streets and thinking and features, And to me, over the years, I've said this 100 times, I'll probably have to say 100 times more, but I'd rather have them throwing balls in the park than rocks in the street any day of the week. And I think everybody would agree with that. I hope the recreation can take this up. As tempting as it may be, I hope that we keep in mind that our local folks from within the city of Livingston, they're not necessarily the most paid workers, highest paid workers, but they are the hardest workers. And not every family usually has the money to put 3 or 4 kids in the recreation program, so we got to be very sensitive to what fees we may initiate. So I would strongly ask the recreation look at it. Yes, outside of the city, as much as we want them to play, they got to be a little more equal to our budget too, but our folks, it's their money to begin with. Everybody that's out there, they're paying taxes to the city already, and this money that's being transferred, it was there to begin with. But I will look forward to see what the recreation comes up with. And that's just a comment. So at this point, does anybody wish to make a motion to pass this resolution? Oh, I'm sorry. This item is not open to the public. Does anybody wish to make a comment? And thank you very much.
Good evening again. Jose Moran, 945 Parkview Drive, Livingston, California. I agree with you guys. I think this is highly needed. It's highly necessary to be able to have activities for our kids in the community, and this engages also parents. I mean, I see this is like one of the only communities around here where I see something going on almost every day of the week. Almost every day of the week. And if we have kids doing activities, we have those parents with those kids for the most part. And I don't remember exactly how many people you have impacted with all those activities every year, but I remember seeing a number like in 22,000. It's a lot. I mean, and we do have a lot of volunteers, and I know it's pretty hard to get a lot of volunteers to do every activity that this department has put together. And I'd rather invest $60,000 in a program like this than $60,000 in I don't mind investing in an additional officer if we had to, but I'd rather not, to be able to cover, for all the activities that kids won't be able to do in Parks and Recs, Obviously, we would have, eventually, once the community is growing, we will have more need for other things, and I don't mind looking and supporting, increasing some of those fees, but not canceling any. Actually, I would rather see the program grow, because it's going to be a benefit to our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public?
Catherine Shell Rodriguez, P.O. Box 163. I have been pretty much a regular at city council meetings since at least 2007. And I've lost count of the number of times where the thing about fees not covering recreation expenses has come up. So this is not a new thing. It's come up before. The other thing I want to point out is the recreation department is charged with more than just the sports and activities that we associate with children. And these items are not necessarily under Jackie's control. For example, if you open up your packet to page 3 of the detail and go down towards the bottom and you look at account number 1125-106-4971, you'll see where the recreation department is taking a $10,000 hit for 4th of July city expenditures, where none had been budgeted. Then go down to the very next line, and you'll see the Sweet Potato Festival expenses, where $48,000 had been budgeted, but the actual was $53,413. So that's about $15,000 of expenses right there that's hitting Jackie's department that were not necessarily under her control. Now, I don't mind that the city invests in the 4th of July celebration. It is turning into one of the biggest celebrations in the Central Valley, and that's a good thing. And I don't mind that the Sweet Potato Festival is also being invested in, because that's also a good thing. But let's not forget that it is impacting the Recreation Department budget, and that a good chunk of that shortfall has to do with these two events. Now, I don't know what all of the individual items are that make up these expenses. You know, I can put in a document request and find out what the run is, but please, let's not be beating Jackie over the financial head about items that are not under her control. If the council wishes to have these events, then you're going to have to expect that those expenses are going to have to be covered.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, if there's nothing else, close to the public. Council, any further comments? Will I entertain a motion?
I make a motion to adopt the resolution to transfer funds from the general fund to the recreation fund to cover budget shortfall for the 2018-2019 budget year.
I have a motion by Councilwoman Baptista. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Councilmember Kang. May I have roll call, please?
Roll call. Councilmember Baptista.
Yes.
Councilmember Aguilar.
Yes.
Councilmember King.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia.
Yes.
Mayor Summer.
Yes.
Motion approved by a vote of 5-0.
Thank you. And